Hi there, my name is Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitech in Auckland, and welcome to my Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now I'm currently working on a 2007, I think it is, Kawasaki Sherpa, and I've got to the point now where I need to do an oil change. Now normally you'd run the bike up to operating temperature or thereabouts and then drain the oil, because when the oil's warmed up it's a lot runnier. It runs out of the engine really easily. Unfortunately, on this particular job, I can't start the engine just yet, and the oil level is critically low in there anyway. So I wouldn't want to start it with a very little amount of oil in there. So for you guys doing a regular oil change, run your engine up for 3 or 4 minutes, get it a little bit warm, not red hot because you'll burn your hand when the oil comes out. Just run it up a bit, that'll thin the oil out a little bit and it'll run out of the engine much easier. I'm going to have to do this cold. And there's 2 reasons. One is the oil level is critically low, like I've already said. And secondly, I'm still waiting for a spring to go in the cam chain tensioner before I dare start the bike, because there is a risk that the little ratchet pawl could fail and the cam chain could lose all tension and it could start to jump teeth and valves hit the piston, that kind of thing, which is pretty catastrophic and I don't want that to happen. So we'll do an oil change here now, and I'll cover tightening torques for the oil filter housing and for the sump bung, and I'll also cover the amount of oil that you need to use, and I'll try and keep it, reasonably quick and short. Here we go. Right, so first job is to remove the bash guard, and that's an 8mm spanner, and hopefully it won't snap off on us. There we go. When you put that bolt back on again, put some copper paste on it. They have a pretty hard life. Right, let's get rid of that. Okay, so just orientate yourself then. That's the rear suspension linkage, back of the engine, and just to the left hand side of the engine is what looks like a 14mm bolt, and that bolt is the drain bung for the engine. So we'll need to undo that, and then the engine oil is going to run out into a tray. Perfect. Okay, now if you've got a warm engine, be careful, because this is when it's going to burn. There we go. Super job. Right, we'll leave that to drain for a few minutes. Now on the side of the engine, we've got inside here, this is the oil filter housing, so we need to undo these 2 bolts. There we go. That's 1. 2. Okay. Now there's going to be some oil come out of here probably, so just ease it open. There's a big O-ring in there as well. There we go. Any oil? No, no oil at all. Cool. Definitely very low on oil, this thing. Okay, now you can just take out the oil filter and notice that the grommet is to the outside. Cool. A little spring at the back, look, make sure that's in place. Great, let's get a new one. Now, the oil filter that I'm using is a high flow, and the part number is HF112. That's the one for this particular model of Kawasaki Sherpa. It covers most of them, but when they get a bit older, I think it's a different part number. And as regards oil, believe it or not, I'm going to be using some Yamalube semi-synthetic 10W40. Good stuff. Okay, so let's go and install that new oil filter. There we go, look. Looks about the same, doesn't it? Excellent. Here we go. Now, just before you install the new filter, just make sure you put a little bit of grease just on that rubber seal. Very important. There we go. Just before you fit the filter, just take note, you've got a couple of bypass, or galleries here, look. One of them is going to line up with that one there. There's a little hole under there, and you've got one down there too. So that must go on that way around. Normally if it's a Yamaha they would have put a little arrow on there for you, but Kawasaki didn't bother. Okay, now just mount the oil filter on the little stub there, look, there we go, and then offer it into the housing. Perfect. Time for some bolts. Now obviously there's an O-ring on this casing, just inspect that as well. It's important that if there's any kind of nicks in there, you need to replace the O-ring at the same time. And now we can just do up these bolts to torque, and the torque for these is 10 Newton meters. Believe it or not, wow, 10 Newton meters is not very much. You can see why these often get stripped. People don't bother using a torque wrench. Okay, right, so that's the new filter fitted. Let's put the bung back in underneath, and then we can fill the engine with 1.4 litres of oil. Jeez, there really wasn't much in there, was there? Now make sure you fit a new washer on your sump bung, and then in she goes. Now the tightening torque for this is 15, that's 15 Newton meters. It's not much. Okay, just time to put the bash plate back on again. Now just remember to put a bit of copper paste, if you've got some, on that bolt. Just a bit will do. There we are. That way it won't seize up next time round. Okay, bash plate in there. Great stuff. That's all located. Let's nip that up. Right, time for some oil. Okay, this is a 1 litre jug, so we'll do a full litre. Then we'll come back and we'll put another 400 millilitres in. There we go. Oh, it's good stuff, this. There we go. Right, to the bike. There we go. Right, one excellent funnel for the job. Hello clutch. Almost excellent funnel for the job. Right, 1 litre going in. Now when you're pouring oil into engines, just take your time. Don't fill the funnel right to the brim, because of it. If you get a problem, you'll end up with oil all over the floor. Looking good. Now it's really important that you don't use car engine oil in a motorcycle engine. And the reason for that is car engine oil tends to have friction reducing additives. And don't forget, your clutch is running in oil too, and clutches rely on friction. So make sure you use proper motorcycle engine oil for motorcycles. Right, so what do we need now? Another 400 ml coming up. Right, 400 millilitres. Perfect, that'll do for now. Once we get the engine fired up, another day, I'll do a top up. Super job. Excellent. Now just make sure that the O-ring's all the way down on the cap before you put it back in again. There we go. And don't over tighten them. Right, so the 1.4 litres of 10W40, yes, 10W40 is in the engine. And we've changed the oil filter. Now, under normal circumstances, you now would start the engine up, let it warm up to operating temperature, and then check the oil level. And it should be somewhere between low and high. Now, when the engine's at operating temperature, it should really be at high. But as the engine cools down, it'll probably sit somewhere between, usually in the middle between low and high. As the oil expands, don't forget, as the engine warms up. Okay, I can't do that because I'm still waiting for a spring for the camtain tensioner, so I can't start that engine. Not worth the risk. Okay, well, I hope you found that video helpful. That's how you do an oil change on a 2007 Kawasaki Sherpa 250cc, and these traditionally are known as farm bikes, but Kawasaki decided to make them, or to put them on the road and use them as commuter and little trail bikes. And they're actually really good. They do very, very well. Although I am a Yamaha guy, you know that. Okay, well, if you found the video helpful, then why not subscribe to the channel? And you'll see a little gear icon. Click on the gear icon, and if you want to, you can turn on notifications by putting a tick in the box. That means that our friends down at YouTube will send you an email as and when I upload any new videos, and there's usually 3 or 4 every single week. And there's also quite a bit of work on this Kawasaki as well. We've taken the head off and other bits and pieces. So if you've got a Sherpa, look around for the other videos that I've done, and I'm sure there'll be more in the future. And I've got a rear shock installation to do at some point as well. So yeah, heaps to do. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter, and feel free to use any of those portals as a method of communication with me. But I would urge you, please, to use the comment section of YouTube as your first port of call. That's what I check every day, and also, to be honest, you know, that's where people look for the questions and answers that relate to that particular video. So please do that first off, and then we can always migrate across to a different portal later on. Okay, crew, my name is Andy Young, and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitech in Auckland, and you've been watching my Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Cheers, crew, over and out.